my dear Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
Warm welcome to meeting number 1346. So the theme for today's meeting is Still Water Runs Deep. More than a decade ago, when I was doing my engineering, there was a guy in my class named Mahi. So this guy was, he hailed from a very small town called Karinagar, and he used to live alone. This guy used to be very quiet and very reserved kind of person. He was one of the toppers of the class, but his social interaction mainly revolved around smiles and very limited words. And he also had a stammering problem. So as I got to know him better, one day he revealed to me a very major shock. He was actually the leader of an entire youth wing in his hometown. And his life used to revolve around violence and settlements for very just causes. And he also had multiple political connections. And over the course of my engineering, he developed a very massive network of friends in my college. This is a classic example of how looks can be so much deceiving, and people can be much more profound than what they actually seem like. Moving on, let me remind you all about 3 ways by which you can enhance the experience of today's meeting. Number 1, please do not walk around or moron when someone is speaking. You may do so when you hear an applause. Number 2, please do not say anything which is offensive in a political, religious or a gender-related context. Number 3, for the duration of this meeting, can you please put your phones on silent? I'll give you 10 seconds for that. Now the next person to come on stage. Now I'm a big fan of his thundering voice and his wonderful speeches. He's an adventurer. Please put your hands together for Toastmaster Vaidya.
I call to order meeting number 1346 of Bangalore Toastmasters Club. The minutes of the previous meeting 1345 was shared over WhatsApp and over mail to all the members, and in fact there were no amendments which are coming, no suggestions which are coming over the last couple of days. All the minutes in order?
Yes.
Okay. The minutes of the previous meeting 1345 stands fast. I could see quite a few lovely guests today, so whom I had met before as well, so as speech crafters. So may I request them to please rise and then get yourself introduced.
Hi, I'm Daniel Subidan.
Sorry?
4? That's good,
Yes,
right?
where from you are coming? From Bangalore?
I'm from Bangalore. I live in C.V. Raman Nagar.
That's enough.
Cool.
She's a real speech crafter. So that's the change that you will get to see moment you get on the speech craft. Excellent.
Hello everyone, my name is Ravikiran K. I'm a student of RV College of Engineering and I study in Bangalore. I live in Bangalore.
Excellent. Very good.
Hello, I'm Naomi. I live in Bangalore and I'm currently taking a gap.
Sorry?
I'm taking a gap year.
Gap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Hello everyone, my name is Rahul. I'm still waiting to join college. I finished the other
Are there any other guests? Yes, I could see quite a few there.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Okay, I am Jasmine. I'm coming here for the first time and I live in South Bangalore.
Very good.
Hey guys, I'm Dhananjay. My first time here as well, and I also live in South Bangalore. Nice to meet all of you.
Very good. you get to know about Toastmasters? Good, very good. So members, how do we welcome the wonderful guests? So the theme for today's meeting is the still water runs deep. So that means you can't judge a person by the way he or she looks, and looks can be extremely deceptive. And there is also a saying that don't judge a book by its cover. And it reminds me of my friend. We are from a small village, somewhere very close to Pondicherry. My friend Mohan Kumar, who is a well-known pediatrician in Chennai, was born to a very poor family, poor parents. When he was just 5 years of age, he lost his father. No siblings. Mom and then Mohan Kumar. Mom was a daily wage earner, and she was finding it very, very difficult to support Mohan Kumar to pursue his education. Mohan was not a very smart kid, just a mediocre fellow. He didn't have that inborn talent to excel in his studies or in sports, a diminutive boy. But when he lost his father, something struck very profoundly. And he wanted to become one of the best in terms of medicine. That propelled him to study well, despite the fact that he didn't have even a single meal on the day. Many times we used to share meal. I'm not here to boast about what we had supported, but the thing is, he didn't have even a single course of meal when he was in school. But he had a burning desire. Very calm, quiet, composed. He doesn't mingle much with people, but he wanted to become a doctor. Class 10, he didn't score much. He scored somewhere close to 73-74%, but somehow he managed to get on to science group. Class 12, that changed everything. Class 12, he was the student topper. 1104 marks. I still remember 1104 out of 1200, and he joined Chandrapur Medical College. And he was actually admitted in Pilpak Medical College, but his financial constraints didn't permit him to go to the city of Chennai. And he opted for a medical college which is close by to the place where he stayed, which is Chandrapur. Pursued his medical education, got off, passed with flying colors, and then he joined the prestigious Madras Medical College, MD Pediatrics. Life took a serious turn. And then he passed out from Madras Medical College, being one of the topper, and then joined ESI, Government College, Government Hospital as a pediatrician. Now, he is one of the finest, and he doesn't work for money. The man who was very calm, who was composed, and who was very shy, who doesn't boast about whatever achievement that he had made, rose to stellar heights, and he's a man who still has his feet on ground. A classic example of still water runs deep. With this message, let me introduce you to a person who is going to take us through the rest of the meeting as a Toastmaster of the day. This man joined the club 1,340 weeks back. We are celebrating 1,346th meeting. So he joined our club when the meeting was number 3. 1,343 weeks back, he joined this club. One of the oldest, but he will never look like one. The man with the very infectious smile, the man who has got the gift of the gab, the man who has done many roles in our club. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome the man who is going to take us through the rest of the meeting as Toastmaster of the day, a gifted speaker, a speaker of excellence, Toastmaster Umakant Pichu.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vaidya. That's too much of a praise, I would say. And I just want some people to come and sit in front. I think, Anna, it's good to see people sitting in front in the last places. You know more in schools, right? Thank you. Still water runs deep. History has got a lot of instances about this. There are a lot of instances about what's happening with people, how silent they are. Time and again we have seen people who are shy, quiet. These people are bubbling with ideas. They have a treasure trove within themselves. It's just waiting to explode. They just need a trigger kind of something. But there are some times where we have both the positives and the negatives. There are sometimes some people have got negative influences, being shy, silent, and there are some people who have the positive influences. Let's speak something about positive. We are here to be positive and motivated, right? The noted physicist Albert Einstein was one of the shy kids when he was not a very friendly person, used to be within himself. You know, when he was a young guy, young boy, young man, his research papers, he never spoke about it very highly of it. But it was his peers who helped him come out of it and publish all his research papers. Then we have Steven Spielberg, a man of few words, but he brought out his expressions in many blockbusters. You must have seen it all. He's churned one blockbuster after another. Then our own Gurudev, Rabindranath Tagore, when he was a kid, he used to be a loner, used to sit within an empty room. These are places where it has transformed himself into what he has achieved these days. The Toastmasters is also one of those organizations which is a trigger to a lot of people. A lot of people are silent, but Toastmasters is transformed and transform people into, from different walks of life, into better speakers, better listeners, and better communicators, and even as better leaders. We have Toastmasters Club across the world with 145 countries, 218,000 members, and 1,400 plus clubs. And in India also we have a lot of them, and Bangalore Toastmasters, the second oldest and the second largest club. Welcome to Bangalore Toastmasters. So we have an interesting session packed up here today. The first segment was going to be about the prepared speak session. Then we have something, an exciting stuff which different groups in our teams have fought valiantly to achieve the pinnacle. We have that award ceremony. Then we have the table topic segment, and later we have the evaluation, the general evaluation. The general evaluator of this day, of today, has started evaluating the meeting just prior to we started. And the person will evaluate what went well in this meeting, what are the improvements that we can do, and how we are going to be ourselves in the next moment, next meeting, or the next moment in our life. The person who's going to evaluate, who's going to be the general evaluator today, since Toastmasters has made her realize that we should not build pictures about others. You know, we need to know them properly. Just not build an image, a wrong, false image. You know, you need to know them well. That's what she's feeling Toastmasters has made her. A very vivacious person, a bubbly person whom I say. Please welcome Priyanka as the general evaluator today. She will be assisted by a timer, an hour counter, and a grammarian. The timer today is Toastmaster Chaitra, who will keep a track of all the time that each of the speaker consume, and she'll give a report to at the end of the meeting. Then we have the our counter. Chaitra, if you could just stand up. So welcome, Chaitra. Then we have our counter Aditya, who will make notes of a lot of the filler words that we have, the repeat words that we use. And he's going to give a report at the end of the meeting. Then finally we have the grammarian, Toastmaster Vishal, who's going to give a track. So he's going to give a track of the good usage of grammar and help us improve the grammatical mistakes and our vocabulary in the meeting. So as we kick start the first session, first segment of the Toastmasters meeting, the speaker one. The topic is don't just wish, work for it. And he's going to be evaluated by Toastmaster Ayappa. Toastmaster Ayappa, if you could read the guidelines.
Fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests, good evening. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce himself to the club and learn the basic etiquette of public speaking. Timer, please note, it's 5 to 6 minutes. All the best to the speaker. Thank you.
So the speaker is going to come here for the first time and he's going to introduce himself. Please welcome, with a round of thunderous applause, Toastmaster Abhijit.
We get one life, and in this one life, we get enough opportunities to evolve. Evolve into what? Evolve into a better version of ourselves. Now, based on this notion, Microsoft has released their latest operating system, Windows 95. And indeed, in the same year I was born. 1995, a year of transformation and era of internet. Good evening, Toastmasters and fellow guests.
Good evening.
I am Abhijit Nair, here to present you my journey of life. I was born in 1995 in Kerala, South India, and was raised in North India because my father had a job there. He was working in a paper manufacturing plant. And there are two free things where you get in paper manufacturing plant. One is very bad smell. And the second thing you get free there is a lot of papers. Now, I can't do much about the bad smell for sure, but I decided to do something about a lot of papers. So I started working on crafts, practicing drawings, and eventually I got better in that. People used to say that I was gifted, but back of my mind, I know that how much practice you have to do to get better on something. Unlike my brother, I was a shy kid. He was genius, he was smart, he was talkative. And during parents-teachers meeting, teachers used to compare me with him. I was not okay with that. Was not very comfortable at all. Now, my mother, she was a teacher in the same school. And she believed that a student should learn on their own after some certain time and they should manage their own studies. So she deliberately left teaching me during 5th grade. But little did she know what was coming ahead. During my 5th board result, I got 8 marks in English. I was shattered. I was completely dumbstruck and it was a dark moment for me. Though I was not a bad kid, not a poor kid in studies, I was quite well. It was surprising for me how did it happen. But after applying for re-evaluation, we got to know that it's not 8, it was 83. Though I survived that dark period, but one thing I realized and I learned that made me stronger is you have families and friends to support during this crisis. And I sailed through. I went ahead, I finished the rest of the grades and reached 10th, and I developed an inclination in maths. And I love doing maths problems. Based on that, I went ahead, selected my stream in science, and during my crossroads of my career path, I was confused what to choose next. During a consultation with my friend, he suggested me to choose architecture since his sister was doing architecture and I was from creative medium. I suggested I had no other option, I just didn't want to do engineering. I followed and I went into architecture. First initial years was good, great, fun, it was interesting, it was indeed creative. But afterwards, it started to become boring, it was very technical. I was again still back into the same cycle. Was nervous, was deciding to quit. Before quitting, I suggested with my father, I consulted with my father. He suggested me that why don't you try, and if you dislike the course, leave it, but you try first. I went ahead with his suggestion and I realized it was indeed a really interesting field that makes people smarter. And I went ahead, finished my course, finished my degree of 5 years, and landed it up in a really good firm, which taught me a lot. As an intern, I joined. Now I'm here standing as a senior architect, handling a lot of residential projects. Interesting. Indeed, it makes me a better person after 4 years, for sure. And this person right here, he had been through a journey with lots of ups and downs. And there is a journey lying ahead which is not going to be very easy. But I am looking forward to it, and I am waiting, and I'm sure that it's worth sharing the endeavors. Back to you.
What a life journey, what a learning from his life. So the next speaker is also going to speak the story of her life. So the guidelines is going to be the same thing. The evaluator, Vijay is the evaluator, and please welcome speaker number 2, Aishwarya, onto the stage.
Hello everybody, a very good evening.
Hello.
Today I'm very excited to share the story of my life with all of you. Born and brought up in Bangalore in a joint family. Family consisting of my grandparents, parents, my elder bully brother, my uncles, aunts and my cousins. Growing up, I have a memory of having meals, all of us together. It was more like a celebration. Every dinner was like a festival, I would say. I am very close to the cousins who were born after me. The elder ones, not so much, because they were more of bullies than buddies. I loved dancing. My elder bully brother was my dancing buddy too, who taught me the fine footwork when I was just 5 years old. Now moving on to my school life. Initially, I was scared to go to school. I was a shy kid. The only thing that made me feel safe was the fact that my house was just 2-3 minutes walk away from my school. I was addressed as Shant Bachi in my school. I was not talkative at all, silent, very obedient, followed all instructions thoroughly, all in all, a very good girl. I enjoyed all the appreciation when I danced at my school. I was an awesome dancer. I was not well in academics, but I would manage through in my finals. Moving on to my high school. A shy kid turns rebellious, very talkative, never followed instructions. always did her own thing, set new trends in school with watches, new hairdo, and whatnot. I was the awesome dancer yet. I not only had the best moves for my tunes, I also made people dance in my own tunes, and that didn't stop just at dancing. Teenage, popularly known as peer age, was great fun. I introduced the concept of slam book in my class with my classmates, after which our secret crushes were not secret anymore. They became more of a confession, and I loved all the extra attention. Later on, I landed up on a stunning discovery which made me aware that I wasn't too small for my pigtails, neither was I too grown up for my cocktails. At the moment, I had to stay content with mocktails, and that, my friends, in a nutshell, is my teenage day. Moving on to my PUC life, I joined Baldwin's. Happily, I joined the college with full confidence, and I enjoyed that because I was a noted dancer. I was an awesome dancer by then, and I was the go-to dancer for any events in my college. I made friends not only in my college, but outside the college too. Typical Joseph boys and Baldwin girls friendships, if you know what I mean. I was not just the fun-loving child, I was aware and focused too. I also started learning, I learned to follow instructions. But I had my own fun way to escape towards the fun stuff, away from all the restrictions. I never bunked my college, but I managed to bunk classes with attendance in the name of dance practice. So after that, I finished my PUC with good grades, and then wanted to try my hand at interior designing. I was very interested in that, but I was not allowed to. Somehow, I landed up in Shishadipura Main College for BCom. Disinterested, disheartened, and so bored. I again became the silent girl that I was. I never made many friends in the initial stages of my BCom life. Later on, I made few friends, I got comfortable, and was a big part of Commerce and Management Forum. Completely cut off from dance, that was okay because I learned new things, I had new perspective, and I graduated with distinction in my BCom. Still disinterested. Finally, I made a bold move to join interior designing college. I joined JD Institute. It was exciting at first, very interesting. It became stressful gradually. I had some creative block, and the worst thing happened. I started losing confidence in my own self and own design. Then I realized that the worst enemy for creativity is self-doubt. I wanted to move on with my creative spirits and do best. But the world was not ready for me because of pandemic. I lost interest again. And finally, when I was ready, the world was not ready for it. So I lost interest again, and there were struggles for the 2 years that I don't want to share right now. Now, I have decided to begin again with my interior designing journey, and the journey began here to gain back my confidence, stand up on my feet, and address all of you here in Toastmasters. And I wake up not with alarm clock these days. I wake up with the burning passion in me and interest in interior designing. I wanna blow my own mind to make a better world for myself and for the rest of you all through interior designing. Earlier, I used to say, oh my God, same crap another day. Now I say, oh what a fabulous day, because I have decided and learned to count my rainbows and not my thunderstorms. And that, my friends, is the story until now.
Oh, what a speech for a first timer. Fabulous speech. Thank you, Aishwarya. Welcome aboard. So the third speaker, the topic is keep moving. He's going to speak from presentation manual, L3P2 project. This gentleman had a normal upbringing. Whenever he used to go down, he used to go up to his terrace for his motivation and have a 360-degree view of life. That used to change him and give him a better perspective. So, this gentleman, whose hobby is reading, being in the nature, in the lap of the nature, before I call him onto the stage, I'd like to call upon his evaluator, Toastmaster Alan, to read out the guidelines.
The purpose of this project is for the member to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. Timer, please note the speech length is 5 to 7 minutes. Best of luck to the speaker.
The speaker also wants to be a business magnate by 2030. Please welcome this future business magnate, Jeevan, onto the Toastmaster to the stage.
Thank you, Toastmaster, for recharging me for the upcoming speech. I've seen a road full of autos, buses, and cabs that help people move from one place to another. That day, at 12 a.m., things were different. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I need your attention. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I came back from a different city to the Bangalore. I started walking towards the bus stand, but there were no buses. But I decided to move towards that place. Auto, Panisar Auto, Andrali Pina second stage. Beautifully designed stand, giving priority to the Karnataka flag, posting always on the head, with rail designed with red and yellow. Without intention, I went there, but there were no autos. I was worried, how do I reach home? But I had a second option. I picked my phone, opened the Uber app, and booked for the ride. Waited for such time that driver didn't pick up the order. I was worried. There were no buses, no autos, no cabs. How do I reach home? Then I heard a noise. A well-known sound that everyone knows in the Bangalore, a bullet bike. As a lamp neared to me, I waved my hand. He was kind enough to stop his bike, and I explained my situation. There is no bus, no autos, and Ubers are not accepting my order. Will you please drop me? He was so kind enough, and he said yes. But I was worried. Why this man, in the late night, he said yes to my request. With this fear, I sat on his bike. This journey was very small. Since he has to head to the other direction, he dropped me in the middle of the road and said goodbye. I said, goodbye friend, thank you so much. Again I was on the road. Bajaj Chetak was on my way. And I waved my hand, and he was so kind enough to stop his bike. By God's grace, I stepped into it and started my journey. Later I realized he was drunk. I had a fear, where this man go and hit his bike? To the parked vehicle or a tree? With this fear I said, hey man, Look at my house is very near. I can walk it. Thank you so much. He stopped his vehicle and I get down and I started walking towards my home. At 2 rides made me to think, let's walk towards my destination. I come across a junction. An auto was on its way. Shall I stop him? Or shall I start walking the further? But since I traveled from long distance, I was so tired. With 2 different ride experience, I don't have any energy. With that, again I showed my way band, and he was so kind enough, he stopped it. Again I said, Baya, I'm walking from longer distance. No autos, no buses, and not even Uber drivers are accepting my order. Will you drop me? He was so kind enough. He said, yes. I boarded and he dropped me to my place. It was around 3:30 a.m. in the morning. But he didn't charge single penny because the distance was very short. Toastmasters, I came from the other city to the Bangalore. It was 13 kilometers away to my home and it took 3 hours of journey. 3 hours of journey. Raj, Natraj and Yuvraj are the people who helped me reach my goal because they were heading to my direction. Once I reached home, I took a sleep for another 6 hours. It was my mother who waked up in the morning for breakfast. While I was having the breakfast, after thinking about the past event, I realized Toastmasters, no matter what, keep moving. Keep moving no matter what towards your dream, towards your goal. Obstacles might come, keep moving. Obstacles might come, keep moving. One day, you will achieve your goal. One day, you will achieve your dream. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jeevan. Yeah, obstacles do come and we need to keep moving. And there are solutions to every problem that we face. And with this, we get into the next segment. An exciting part of it is the award ceremony that we're going to have of the TPL to Toastmasters Premier League 2. For this, I welcome the President, Hannah Victoria, onto the stage to take it forward.
Very good evening to all of you.
Good evening.
How are all of you doing? Good to see all. Just wanted to, the TPL, how many of you enjoyed the Toastmaster Premier League? Great. I can see the winners' hands going up. Okay. Basically, what we introduced was, for the benefit of the guests, it was Toastmaster Premier League. This is basically to ensure that all of us enhance our education journey. We attend the meetings regularly, and then, of course, the social media promotion. So these were the 3 aspects of TPL. It ran for 12 weeks and 4 teams. We basically divided Team A, Team B were the Toastmasters who've been Toastmasters for over 5 years. Team C and Team D were the lesser than 5 years. So it was very competitive, and our Vice President Education had a real tough time. So he's learned to handle women better, much better. That is his takeaway from TPL. So may I now call upon the members. I will call out the names. We've just taken out the certificates of the team members who are here, of the members who are here. And we will distribute the other certificates to whoever later. Yes? Okay. First, I'll give you the best team, Vice President Education. Now this Toastmaster, I must say, put in a lot of effort and time. This Toastmaster bugged each and every team member. I am telling you, bugged. That is the word. She got out the best in each one of them. Her team progressed the most in every aspect. So please join me to congratulate Toastmaster Nazni. And she gets a cap as well as the Vice President Education. The best team VPPR is another lady Toastmaster, and I think she did a fantabulous job of getting us a lot of likes and shares. So she's not there. This is Toastmaster Varsha. And the best team captain of Team A, B, C and D goes to a very silent Toastmaster. As the theme says, silent but deep. Please join me to congratulate Toastmaster Chiran. Now I would call upon the individual of the team. You all can please come. Toastmaster Sitaram. Toastmaster Priyanka Ranave. Toastmaster Nazni. Toastmaster Chaitra. Toastmaster Agirama. Toastmaster Vishwanath. Toastmaster Guru Raj. Toastmaster Toastmaster Shashank. Toastmaster Vishal. And Toastmaster Sai Deepak. So the winners, whoever the team winners of the TPL2 are champion conquerors and trailblazers. It was a very, what do you say? I think point to point they had the same scores. So well done, both of you. Please come, Nazni. That's it, and over to Toastmaster.
Thank you, Madam President. I think TPL was one of those leagues where it was a nail-biting finish for these two winners, and we built in a lot of team camaraderie in this, I could say. A lot of people working together for ensuring that team succeeds. And it was not about individuals, it was about the team. And every team, literally, I think, used to catch the president, the vice president of education by his throat to give us a speaking slot. Most of them did well in that speaking slot. I think in PR, I think a few teams lost it out. But it was a great competition, I could say. Many more to come in future. And it's built such good rapport amongst that team, It's a very good concept, and we should ensure that going ahead, we should get something like this. So before we get into the next segment, I could just have a 5 minutes of break for you to mingle and socialize and meet each other, greet each other. Let's have a small break, family break.
no.
Hello sir, how are you? Doing good, how are you? Where is the tortoise now? Which part? Tortoise over here. Oh! Where did you
Okay, come in front. Late. Welcome back for the second session. That's the second segment that we're going to have. How do I introduce this person who's going to lead this segment? I've known this gentleman for a long time. A man who looks for perfection, A man with tons of patience, I could say. A man with a gift of writing. Not many people can write like him. I've known him for ages. His WhatsApp messages are about pages. It takes a while to read it. This man is ready to help a lot of people. He's always been there for me. I've known him for at least more than 2 decades. His family is pretty close with my family. His children, my children are pretty close. Please welcome the man who's going to lead the table topic session today, Joe Paul.
Thank you, Toastmaster Umarkhan, for that very descriptive introduction. Now, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, a very warm welcome to the table topic session. The table topic session is the second part of the table topics meeting. The Toastmasters meeting. And in the table topics session, we generally have the table topic master. I'm donning the role today. I would call upon a speaker randomly and give him or her a topic to speak on. And today we have the timings of 1.5 minutes, which is the maximum. So the timer would show the green card at 1 minute and the amber or yellow card at 1 minute and 15 seconds and the red card at 1.5 minutes. So I urge all of you to wrap up by then. And this is basic to help you improve your speaking ability, impromptu speaking ability. That's the basic goal of this session. Now coming to the theme of today, as you know, it is still waters run deep. Now that is a Latin proverb, and I think proverbs resonate very well with this theme because generally proverbs and sayings are very simple and plain on the surface, but then they have a lot of deep meaning and vast experience that comes with it. So today's theme, today's topics would be proverbs from across the world. So that is something that we would have. So shall we take the plunge?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. The first topic is from a Chinese proverb. It's big fish eat small fish. I repeat, big fish eat small fish. The speaker is Victor Bush.
About 10 years ago, the Indian startup market was shaken by a brand new kid on the block, and that was Flipkart at the time. Very few people knew what it was about. It was essentially a copycat, and if you may so say, it was a copycat of the Amazon of the world. And Amazon at that time started off as a book retailer, and then went on to e-commerce and lots of other things. And Flipkart essentially took off on the same philosophy. Started off with books, and slowly diversified, and they became bigger and bigger. And they acquired a lot of companies on the way. Mintra, and there was so many others on the way. So reason I'm saying this is, while I do agree with the esteemed topic master about big fish, gobbling up the small ones, but just like the proverbs were from one era, that saying also is from an era which is past. Like today we have seen, the smaller fishes like Flipkart really eating up a lot of the big fishes. And even 1 year back, if you remember, there was this news about Baiju's literally swallowing Akash, which was a much, much bigger educational establishment around the world. So, Mr. Topic Master, I beg to disagree with you.
I think even if you beg to disagree, there's something common that we have, because I think otherwise Bengalis and Malus generally love fishes. Now we go to the next. It's English proverb, and when I meant it's basically from England. So some men go through a forest and see no firewood. I repeat, some men go through a forest and see no firewood. Toastmaster Puneet.
There's a very interesting ritual that our culture has forgotten. It was called the rites of passage. In tribes, when a small boy would be identified by the tribal leader to have reached the age, usually 9, 10, 11, around puberty, that is when he would be put through the rites of passage. Nice time. You'd be thrown out of the tribal circle, and you would maybe given a stone or a small weapon and a task to go through the forest and survive. And at times, mostly, you had to go and hunt a very specific animal, or it could be a wolf, it could be a lion, depending upon the tribal leader. And he had to survive at least 3 to 4 days without food, with just a small weapon in the wild forest. And after those 3 to 4 days, if the boy managed to survive and bring back the meat or the bone or anything to show the proof, he will be welcomed back into the tribe. That 3 or 4 days would change the rest of his life. His attire would change. His posture would change. He would be eligible to marry. That rites of passage would make a boy into a man. I'm so saddened that we have lost that. Gone to our forest, there's no fire.
Now the next topic is actually not really deep, but it is a little incisive and cutting one. So the topic, it's a Dutch proverb and it's got some French origin too. Do not wake sleeping dogs. Do not wake sleeping dogs, Toastmaster Bruno.
Why would you wake up a dog in the first place? No, there is an alarm system built in that, that triggers the moment it hears some sound or some noise, something like that. First of all, this proverb is incorrect because you don't need to do that. The nature has given the dog all the things that are required. And one more thing, why would somebody come up with a proverb like this? Must be somebody who did something, fishy with the dog, had to endure some painful things after that. Must have come with this proverb. Over to you,
Okay, the next one is an Irish proverb. The proverb is, the work praises the man. I repeat, the work praises the man. Toastmaster Sitaram.
Interesting proverb. Work praises the man. So you are known by what you do and your actions. your actions speak for yourself.
Possibly a little more work, and then you can see yourself completing it. Very well done, Sitaram.
Oh, I thought coming there and standing there itself was an
I know.
action for itself.
That's a great thing. So it's a matter of time that you'll see.
A lot of people are afraid of stage. I am one of them, and I think we did a fantastic job.
Thank you. The next one is a Bulgarian proverb. It says, "Measure thrice, cut once." Measure thrice, cut once. Toastmaster Chiran.
Okay. First thing is first. I've never understood what what Indian proverbs means, and he is talking about a Bulgarian proverb. What I'm supposed to answer. So like cut thrice and measure once. Look like that. I'm not able to understand. Measure thrice and cut once. So I think I believe like it is going to be about the cutting the tree or the wood, some kind of a thing. So I don't know, like I don't have experience hand like where I have actually cut a tree. But I do believe like, if there is a proverb, it has to be not only related to that. I think it may be related to some action where you take. So like you have to think before you do anything. So we always say in like Kannada there is a word like in a proverb. So I also forgot it. Like so it's like you know once you spoke a word you cannot take it back. So I think it literally belongs to that, where it says that before you do anything, take any action, you just think about it, think 1 or 2 times before you take the action, because once you do, you cannot take it back. It's already out of your hand. Over to you, Toastmaster.
And that clearly proves that wherever the origin is from, it's universal. Proverbs are universally applicable. That's great. The next one is the Yiddish proverb. And it says, words should be weighed, not counted. Actually, I need to put that into practice a lot. Words should be weighed, not counted. I call upon Toastmaster Stein.
It's a 15-minute drive from my house, from my home to the club. I was scheduled to be here at around 6:30. But when I reached here, I realized I was already 20 minutes late to the meeting. What to do? I can't escape that fact. I was sitting there and I heard the table topic master talking, saying something about Yiddish or something. I was busy checking maps, the distance from here to my house. And it turns out it's again taking 1 or 3 minutes. I just checked it and I was surprised. Taking 1 or 3 minutes. And suddenly he says, Shashank. No, I'm surprised. First of all, I'm surprised because I have to drive back home for more than an hour. Many rains and traffic. And suddenly he calls my name. I'm confused. I don't know what to do. So when life puts you in a situation where someone tries to confuse you or put you on spot, what do you do? You put them back on the spot. I just played a reverse Uno part of it because I don't know what the topic is. And table topics demand that you will have to come here and speak for 1.5 minutes. And I wanted to personally come to Toastmasters to get a good grip of table topics, because you have to speak for 1.5 minutes without gaps or breaks. That's an art of speaking on spot. Now, having said that, I don't know what I'm speaking here, but I'm sure I finished 1 or 15 minutes now. And by the time I thank the table topic master for confusing me,
and thank myself for playing the reverse Uno card on him and putting him back on spot. I think I will run out on playing on spot. Thank you.
The next topic is again another Yiddish proverb. A mother understands what a child does not say. A mother understands what a child does not say. Toastmaster Teresa.
Mother does not. When you have heard my topic, mother understands what child does not say. Congratulations all the girls here who are going to another. Please don't say no. And congratulations that beautiful mothers here, where without a child say anything, the mother understands. That is really a blessing of the universe, or the blessing of the creation. Not only a human being as a mother, as also we can say a mother nature. So she knows what is required for her belonging, same way a mother knows what a child wants without child will ask. Someone said other day that you have to ask then only you get, and also they said a mother will not feel until a child cries. I said, no, that is not the case. That may be the present or going to be somebody, but not a normal mother will not feel anything. And if the mother sees a child just with the dull eyes, looking into the eyes, the mother will say the child has some problem. If the child doesn't smile or doesn't wish good morning, the mother feels that yes, the child will not speak properly. And especially coming out of the college, even with a grumpy face, face is down, the child, mother knows child has some issues. So all the mothers here, going to be mothers, be confident to go to your mother. Over to you.
As a mother, you will definitely understand the child. The next topic is a Croatian proverb, and it is all that's well lasts short. All that's well lasts short. Toastmaster Abhinandan.
All that's well lasts short. Suppose what this means is life is filled with ups and downs. And it turns out that in Croatia, the ups are very small, but the downs are very long. No, I think, yeah, so one way in which I think of life is that even when you're at the bottommost point of your life, it will pass and you will always find the up, like the crests and the troughs. So you will always find your way from a crest to a trough. And the proverb says that the trough doesn't last long, but the fact that that trough exists should be sufficient for you, should be sufficient for us to take hope and wait for it to show up. And when you're in the up, you are, I think, nothing else matters. You're happy and everything's fine. And yeah, so I think the proverb teaches us to give hope.
Sometimes teaches a lot of lessons. And the next topic is also in a tough place right now. It's a Russian proverb, and the topic is, the proverb is, be swift to hear, slow to speak. Be swift to hear, slow to speak. Toastmaster qualified.
up. That's the main motive of the proverb. Like every successful person tells that first you should hear, and then after hearing, after take all the content, then we should utter some words because it helps you to gain some knowledge, and then your words are more valuable in that area. And by listening, you can learn many things than while talking. This is the main motive.
The next one is Cuban proverb. It is cheese, wine, and friends must be old to be good. I repeat, cheese, wine, and friends must be old to be good. Toastmasters Eureka.
Cheese, wine, and friends must be old to be good. Not agree. Let me tell you what happened. The other day I was at the airport. I was standing in the queue. The lady was, there was a big family ahead of 7. So she was processing their papers, their tickets, their boarding passes, their baggage tags and all that. And a very irritating man was standing in front. And he kept on cursing her, kept on yelling at her, kept on getting irritated. She was quiet. She quietly dispensed with all the 7 and then took him on. And then he yelled at her, shouted at her outrageously in all possible words and said, if I was the CEO of the airline, I would have just backed you off. Then came my turn. I said, it must hard on you, isn't it, to listen to all this? She said, still waters run deep. He said, no issues. I've sent his baggage to Delhi. His flight is to Bhopal.
The next one is a Japanese proverb. It says, fall 7 times, stand up 8. Fall 7 times, stand up 8. Toastmaster Vishwanath.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests.
Good evening.
It's a journey in our life. I think we might have seen so many times. Finally, what matters is the success, right? So the failures, how many number of failures you had, just in the back of mind to probably improve upon and look at those aspects, how I can make sure that I overcome those failures and look forward for the success. So to start the day, I think ideally we would like to be a success. Probably we go through the journey, look at the hurdles, the roadblocks, and the challenges we face, and probably think through and apply ourselves actually what we have learned, what the knowledge we have gained, and then look at those things where we can improve upon. And probably failure also helps. Actually, failure is a kind of a stepping stone for a success. So it only means that the more the failures, that means you are very close to the success, and the success has to be one step ahead. Thank you.
The next topic is German proverb. It is the cheapest is always the most expensive. The cheapest is always the most expensive. Toastmaster Abhay Kotari.
Topic master, fellow Toastmasters and guests. There is a saying that my younger brother always says, or he always uses. It's very quite similar. He says that "Sasta roye ek baar, महंगा roye ek baar, sasta roye baar baar." It means that if you buy a product of good quality, you will only have to spend once, and if you buy a product of cheap quality, you will have to spend multiple times. And I believe that is also the case when it generally comes to Chinese products. I heard a saying somewhere in SP Road and some guys were local guys were speaking. They say, I bought something from them. I said, do you have warranty? He said, no.
it's China mal. Chale to chand tak, nahi to sham tak. It will, if it runs, it will run till the moon, or it will run only till the evening. So these are two things that I learned. But the same thing goes to my work, and the motto of our company is basically invented for life, and that pretty much signifies that if you buy our product or if you buy their product, it will last you a long time. And the best part about being associated with such a kind of a tagline or name is that you've got to really contribute to that. And what I've seen is that it's not about the whole product itself, but it's about every small little step that you take to ensure that quality is really delivered. So of course, you might cry many times buying a different product, which is cheap, but with a good quality product, you'll only cry once.
This company is a German one, Bosch. That's it, that's a similarity there. And the next one is an Australian proverb. I think this is something very common that you would have come across long back. Once bitten, twice shy. Once bitten, twice shy, Toastmaster Kamlesh.
After hearing Irish, so only thing comes in my mind is the Irish beer. Okay, I should have this evening, but coming to the point that can I have the topic again? Yeah, so once bitten, side twice, this reminds me the story of my son. And today is very special day for him that few days back he was asked for giving a speech, Hindi speech, in front of all the school. And it was on the festival, the Deepavali. Once he was taken it back because he could not able to prepare, he doesn't know how to prepare it well. But once his mother started giving training and also get into a lot of effort. And today he really fabulously and flawlessly spoken such a well done speech. And I think that has really helped to build the confidence. So sometimes it happens in the life also that you are bitten by some setbacks, but that is not the end. If you have to put in an effort, and then definitely you will one day will be always sunshine, and definitely that is the motto of our life. Thank you.
The next proverb is again an English proverb. No man is an island. No man is an island. Toastmaster Gururaj.
Hi everybody, good evening.
Good evening.
Well, no man is an island. Okay, as Sir just told me that this means that you cannot live alone. It's a proverb that means that you cannot live alone. And I very well agree with what Sir said. Have you all been alone like for a day? Yes. Have you all been alone for a week? Yes. Alone for a month? Years? I hear someone say years. Okay. It's a very lonely place to be alone. It's very sad. And we, coming into the category of animals who are supposed to be social, we are social beings, we are not meant to live alone. We come here alone, yes. We go from here alone, also yes. But it doesn't mean that we have to live here our life alone. Right? Do you all agree with that? We don't need to live alone. We never need to be alone. We were not meant to be alone. And yeah, we were gifted that we come in with families. Then we make our extended families, the families that we decide, our friends. And I think we need all of them. We need everybody, our friends, our guides, our mentors, our inspirers, our inspirations, our role models. We need everybody. We need a lot. We need a team. I think we need people around us all the time. We need to surround ourselves with people, and we need to go as a team. And yeah, we are not meant to be alone. So yeah, thank you.
Topic session. Thank you and the passcode is river. R-I-V-E-R. That's flowing water. That's it. I hand this over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster. And there was tons of proverbs, right? You got to listen and hear a lot of new proverbs today. And before we move into the next segment, I'd like to welcome the precious Priyanka onto the stage for her feedback. It's very important for each of us to improve. Please welcome Priyanka onto the stage.
Very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
As a general evaluator, it's my responsibility to keenly observe everything before and during the meeting and give my feedback. So starting with this, I would first like to start with the theme of the day. The theme of the day is a really very nice theme, something I really heard for the first time. And I found it very interesting when I tried to do a little research about the theme. And it was a great revelation for me to realize that I was a person who very quickly judged people. And in fact, I was giving credit to this platform that made me realize that you have to make an analysis but not come to a conclusion very early. Now starting with the meeting and the first role taker, who was the Sergeant at Arms, which was played by Toastmaster Icebreaker. I must say, I think when you joined the club, I was the first one to let you, I wasn't very sure, but from then to now, the kind of improvement that I've seen is bounds. I don't have words. So I'd like to think that we started with the personal anecdote story. You very quickly used to finish with something, but when you brought in a story, an anecdote, a personal story, an experience with regard to the team, and how you again transform and introduce it to today's presiding officer. But if I have to give a suggestion and improvement, is to work on the tone of presentation, your voice. Because you have a very good story, but a little more on your voice so that people at the back can also hear you clearly. And am I not audible at the back? Yeah. Okay, and the second thing is when you call the presiding officer, you do a very good introduction, but you missed mentioning that today's presiding officer is Toastmaster Vaidyanathan, and then you could have called him Mr. Banks. That is one thing that you missed, so probably just keep that in mind so that in the coming forward meeting you will have that. Next, moving on to the presiding officer for today, who is Toastmaster Vaidyanathan. I must say I have a confession. When I joined Toastmasters, I was very scared of Toastmasters. I was very scared. I was a very, very serious person. But as time went, I realized he was a very warm, amazing, and a fun person. And I've always been a fan of the voice. He has such an amazing voice, a captivating voice. And like always, today, you did the same magic. I must mention one thing, that at the last moment, somebody else was supposed to be the presiding officer for today, but at the last moment he stepped in. And even though he stepped in the last moment, the amazing story, the inspiring story that he brought in was, commendable. I'm not very sure, if I have to give a suggestion, I'm not very sure when you mention the story, if you mention the person's story you said, because I did not hear it. If you could have probably even at the end mentioned and given him that kind of a praise, it would have been great. Next, moving on to the Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster of the day was played by Toastmaster Umar Khan. Sir, I must say you have a very, very great stage presence. I like the way you started. You brought in 3 personalities. You took the theme a little different. It's usually about the person who's very quiet and misjudged. But you took it into a different thing where people who like to be in a more reclusive environment, and people can be very fast in judging them, but they kind of broke all the barriers and made a place in this world. I like the way you took the take of the theme. Otherwise, and the second thing, I like the way you called in people, the way you introduce the speakers. But if I may give a few suggestions, was when you started, you were walking a lot on the stage, which was a little distracting. Even though you had such an amazing story, it was a little distracting because you were moving a lot on the stage. And the second thing was the connection from first speaker to the second and to the third, a little more, if you could add in something. Next, we move on to the first session. So, before I move on to calling the next people, let's give a huge round of applause for the Sergeant at Arms, presiding officer, moving on to the first section of the evening, which was the prepared speeches. I would like to call the evaluator of the first speaker, who was Toastmaster Abhijit. The evaluator was Toastmaster Ayappa.
Everyone are here to find out a better version of themselves. Fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. And this evening's first speaker, Toastmaster Abhijit in particular. Abhijit, it was your Jeet today. There are a couple of things I liked. You had a pleasant personality, the way your smile, right? The way you stand itself is a different aura to the entire your speech, right? And the theme, the still water runs deep, is a perfect example. You had a lot of turmoils in your life till now, and still you bounce back and you landed a fantastic job. A couple of things I liked in your speech. The first one is you said you just related your birth to the Microsoft, how Microsoft evolved. Same thing, our Abhijit also evolved over a period of time, right? What we have, Microsoft 10, right? So maybe Microsoft 10, what is the version we have? 11, sorry. Okay, so Abhijit 11 now. Yeah, fantastic. Second one is your dad was working in a paper factory and it was a disgusting smell in the factory, paper waste. But you had an advantage, free papers, right? Because thanks to that, you evolved your creativity, right? You just upgraded your creativity plus. And in school, you had a comparison because your brother was smart and you were I think, good in studies, but your mom used to help. Mom thought, this is the time I need to stop helping my son, right? She stopped it. And result came 5th grade. What was the result? What was the percentage? 8%. And applied to re-evaluation. And 88% you are on cloud 9. And again you are at the crossroads. You took up science, architecture, you don't know what to do, and finally took up architecture, and again confused, you wanted to retire from architecture, right? And who helped you? Your dad. He supported immensely, and you're able to complete your architecture. Now you're having a fantastic job in a reputed architecture firm as what? Senior. Yes, senior architect, right? Probably yes. Now, fantastic. Now, what are the things you could have worked on your speech? The first one, because you being the character in the story, you could have kept it as a suspense, right? You could have viewed in such a way that only you could end. Of course, Toastmaster would know the icebreaker is your speech, but there are guests, right? So you could have viewed in such a way that it creates suspense, and only you can reveal at the end. And other way is like you would create as a page 1, page 2, like different phases of your life, right? And the second area of improvement I could say is like, it is your speech, right? It is your story, right? For everybody, for all the icebreakers I'm telling, okay? You just involve yourself into the story. You just get in the skin of the character, right? Of course, I can't say about your body language, voice, and other things, right? Because it's a first speech, I can't expect you to do all those things. But because it's in icebreaker, it's your story, and definitely you can express more. That's a suggestion, right? These are 2 areas probably you can work on. Definitely long way to go, Abhijit. And all the best and congratulations for your previous speeches. Yeah?
you, Toastmaster Ayappa, for this amazing evaluation, the detailed evaluation. Let us all give a huge round of applause to the speaker and to the evaluator. Now moving on to the next speaker. The next speaker was Toastmaster Aishwarya, who was evaluated by Toastmaster Vijay Kalpuni.
General letter, dear Toastmasters and target speaker, Toastmaster Icebreaker. Icebreaker speech is a way of conquering the word I. So what I mean by the word I is, I has 3 dimensions to it. I am not what I think I am. I am not what you think I am. I am what you think I think I am. So Icebreaker is one such speech where we are conquering that word of I, what other think I am, by starting my journey in public speaking. So today, as an Icebreaker speech, Aishwarya was here to conquer her public speaking journey, start her public speaking journey and conquer her fear of public speaking. So today I am going to evaluate the Aishwarya speech in an acronym ICE. So the word I here stood for introduction. So today we got to hear from Aishwarya different facets of her life. It can be her family to cousins, school life to teen life, college to her passion, her traits, how he dealt with the relations. All of that was well wrapped like a bouquet of flowers. So we could relate to, we could travel with her right from her journey from her birth in Bangalore and how he spent her time with her friends, cousins, and what are the different passions which kept her going. The passion was one such element which stood out right in each phase of her life. And the second C here stands for command. Her command over the story and the language was immense. We could see that she was at ease on her stage. It never looked like she was giving her Icebreaker speech. The story had clarity of thoughts. So the clarity of thoughts was very, very evident when she took us to her journey of school life, where she mentioned how she was silent and obedient. It was evident in her college life where she was talking about how humorous she was and like how transformative the journey was in her college life. And when it comes to badminton, how dance actually helped her going through the college journey. And how she took up the challenge of interior designing and how excelled at her BCom graduation as well. But having said that, the E stands here for enhancement. Like what are the small tidbits that can take a speech to a notch higher? Usually the speeches, when they are wrapped with examples, actually leave a lasting memory in the memory of people. If we can weave all of this college story and all the story of yours with cousins and dance in a small story, sample is like, say, I had a dance session which I went with my cousin and where I met my friends, and like say you weave 2-3 of them into one small story that will stand out and it will leave a lasting memory to people. Second, lot of movement, like slightly there was a lot of movement on the stage which can be slightly reduced, though I know it's an Icebreaker speech. Seeing your command of the language and how free flow you are with your speech, you could have slightly controlled that. But having said that, nothing to take away. It was not a first speech, it looked like a level 2 speech. So I congratulate you for that. And I would like to end with the word passion, because that passion stood out in your entire speech. Allow your passion to become your purpose, and then it will become your profession, and that's what we are. Back to these.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay, for this detailed evaluation. Let's give a huge round of applause to the evaluator and now moving on to the third and the last evaluator. The speaker was Toastmaster Jeevan, who was evaluated by Toastmaster Alan Arana.
With the purpose of presenting a well-organized speech, that is the story, I think Toastmaster Jeevan, you really hit the nail on the head. Your story had great intrigue throughout and a very well-driven message of the need to keep moving till the very end. You displayed great confidence. You were well attired. Your physical gestures fully integrated with the content that you were presenting today. You appeared self-assured. You engaged the audience with really well-constructed content with reasonably good movement on stage. I would say, in terms of impact, you enthralled us all. Your story flowed as smoothly as butter, and it contributed to what was definitely an exemplary speech. That being said, Jeevan, I think you can definitely challenge yourself with the usage of tone, speed, and volume, which I think requires a little practice. So what do I mean? I felt that your pacing was fast at certain levels. You could have used pause more effectively. And I felt you could have played with varying your voice. For example, if you were saying that I heard a Royal Enfield and my heart was beating as fast. And suddenly the world stopped. Right? So if you had used variations like this, it could have, they were important aspects that I felt could have actually contributed to narrating the story more effectively. Also, when you came on stage, the first thing that you did was you thanked the Toastmaster of the day. You did that at the start. You also finished your speech by saying thank you. Okay? So what I would say is that when you come on stage, do not thank the Toastmaster because it dilutes the impact of your introduction. Get on stage, pause for 3 seconds, start your speech. Right? When you end your speech, end it, pause for 3 seconds, and then back to the Toastmaster so that people are thinking about what you have said and they don't end with the thank you. But these are all minor squibbles, Jeevan, in what I would call simple and powerful storytelling at its best. As your title suggests, Jeevan, keep moving, and I will add, keep flying. And wish you all the best for all your upcoming speeches. Back to the general.
Thank you, Toastmaster Alan, for this beautiful evaluation. There is always a huge round of applause to the speaker and to the evaluator. Now moving on to the next session, which was the table topic session, and the table topic master was Toastmaster Joe Paul. So I must say, I really liked when you came on the stage, the way you gave a briefing about what is table topics. The second thing that I really liked was the topics that you chose were all quotes, and the quotes and the people that you picked up accordingly to give them the topic. That is something that I really liked and I appreciate. The second, if I could give a suggestion, would be after every person who walked out, if you could just give a connecting or just one line, they would have, the flow would have been a little better. That is the only small suggestion if I can give. Next, I would like to call my tag
on stage is staying within the time limit. And I'm happy to say that our prepared speakers for today were within the limit. Toastmaster Abhijit took 5 minutes 20 seconds. Toastmaster Aishwarya took 6 minutes 15 seconds. And Toastmaster Jeevan took 6 minutes 5 seconds. When it comes to table topic session though, some of you need to be a little more mindful. Toastmaster Sudipto, Toastmaster Puneet, DTM Teresa, Toastmaster Abhay and Toastmaster Gururaj exceeded the time, and Toastmaster Bruno, Toastmaster Sitaram, Toastmaster Kolapan and Toastmaster Surekha were below the required time. The rest of the evaluators and role takers were within the time. Back to you, Toastmaster.
So the R counter is Toastmaster Aditya.
We had a brilliant meeting today, not an extensive use of crutch words. Just to highlight a few outliers, amongst the ones who used next to none were Toastmaster Vedya, Toastmaster Jeevan, Toastmaster Bruno, Toastmaster Shashank and Toastmaster Surekha. While there are people at one end of the spectrum, there are people at the other end, and this is not something that has to be taken in negative sense. As table topic master said, today you fall twice, you get up 8 times. A couple of highlights for the people who had a little bit of crutch words. We have Toastmaster Chirant, you have about 13 crutch words. Toastmaster Abhinandan, you had about 11. Kolapan, again 11, Toastmaster Kolapan. Toastmaster Kamlesh, you had 9, and Toastmaster Gururaj, you had 8. Back to you.
Toastmaster Aditya, and as a grammarian, we had Toastmaster Vishal.
Good evening, everyone. My father always says English is a funny language, but it does have a few rules, and the rule books, it's called grammar. So there are a few sentences that could have been improved. So few of them are he didn't have, could have been he didn't have. Got off fast could have been just fast. Too much of a praise could have been too much praise. You get free could have been get for free. Get better on could have been get better at. Now for the good usage of the English language, rose to stellar heights, treasure trove within themselves, inclination to math, dance to my tunes, count my rainbows, not my thunderstorms, take the plunge, different facets of life. Today's word of the day was consummate. Unfortunately, I did not hear anyone use it, and with that, I consummate my report.
I must say that because of the unfavorable climate condition, a lot of last-minute changes were done just before the meeting started. And I must commend, in spite of it, we had a very smooth and an amazing meeting. So let us all give a huge round of applause to everyone. We also had the DPL award ceremony, and I think that was the most exciting thing, and most of us were a part of this Premier League, very excited and looking forward. And I would like to thank the committee for having such an event, because the time has pushed us all to do our best. And here it comes to the end of my evaluation, and I would like to hand over to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Umar Khan.
I thoroughly enjoyed the meeting today, and I'm sure you too enjoyed it and learned a lot of things today. There's some learning which is for an improvement for you, and even a centimeter of learning is important. That goes a long way. Something which I came across just a few minutes ago in a WhatsApp thing. True leadership is all about people, and inspiring people to believe that the impossible is possible. When leaders can inspire a group of people to perform beyond their normal limitation, great things will happen. And great things do happen in Toastmaster. I hand over to the meeting to the president, the presiding officer, Toastmaster Vaidyanathan.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Umakant Chichur and the General Evaluator Priyanka. I think they deserve a round of applause. Now it's time for awards, and before we go on to the awards for today's meeting, so let me introduce you to a person who was extremely competitive in terms of the way she followed up, the way she got things done, and by virtue of her persistence, her team today was glorified as the champions. So as the PR champion of TPL 2022, it's Toastmaster Varsha. Looks very calm, composed, but is a man of steel. The man who was a part of a team which again won this TPL competition. It's Kamlesh Kumar. Could you please come on stage, please? President has very clearly said that trophy has to go to Varsha. So Varsha, could you please come on stage, please, once again? So his father said that English is a funny language. So the best auxiliary role taker award goes to Toastmaster Vishal. And he was born to evaluate me. Especially speaker. So every time he comes on stage as an evaluator, he walks away with the best evaluator award. And this week also, it's no surprise, it's the Alan Arana, the best evaluator. The flight went to Delhi, but the luggage went to Goa. So the best table topic speaker, it's Priyanka. So the Sutradhara of the meeting, the man who tied up all the knots. So the man who took us over the past 2 hours. The best role taker award goes to our very own Toastmaster Umakant. So this is a day of ties, in fact. So we had a tie in terms of TPL, and then today we have a tie when it comes to the prepared speeches as well. She loves to design, he loves to design. Both are into design. So let me invite both the designers on stage. It's Toastmaster Aishwarya and Toastmaster Ajit Nair. And one more similarity, both the name starts with the letter A. one lady who was a part of her speech club program, and she came all the way today to Bangalore Toastmasters Club to witness this meeting, but she can't go back home without having at least a minute of stage time. So may I request this lady on the second row to come on stage, please, for a minute? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, please. The theme of the day, still waters run deep, and your time starts now, and it's only for a minute.
Still waters run deep, and I think about my mom. In my house, when my dad comes in, there's a lot of noise. Okay, when my mom comes in, it's quiet. And initially, as children, we look up to our dad, and we look up to them for everything, and we are scared of your dad. You go to your mom, there's silence. But today, I looked at my mom, and I know that so much she's given me. I am what I am today a lot because of my mom. Although she was silent, she was a strength, she was the backbone of the family. And it's like, I think that's the story of every house, isn't it? The silence and the stillness, that's where you go to. That's your home. And no offense, my dad is great. Okay, but the depth of the person that I am, I would dedicate it to my mom. Thank you.
That's the magic of speech club. That's what speech club can do. Yeah, isn't it? She was finding it difficult to get off stage. Since I said it's only for 1 minute, she spoke for 1.5 minutes, otherwise she would have continued. Excellent. I think we started off well, started off on time, maybe a couple of minutes late, and then all that begins well, ends well, and we had a fabulous meeting. Thank you everyone for braving this harsh weather and then coming to our club. Especially, thank you very much to the general evaluator, the Toastmaster of the day, and the table topic master. So now I call upon all adjourned meeting number 1346 of Bangalore Toastmasters Club. But before we get back home, there will be some sumptuous snacks which is on offer by our fellow Toastmaster.